Hello my little learners, you can call me Lovegood and I hope you enjoy this video. Today we are part 2 out of 2 of Chapter 6, A Good Song Never Dies. Summary, Entrance Exam and Life Alone. Author's notes, Izuku is a chaos demon, no other words to describe him. He is just chaos in this story. I hope you enjoy. Sorry if the audio's bad. I have to choose a different recording space because my dad stole mine. So, yes. This is Chapter 6, Part 2 out of 2 of Ghostly Bonds. He glanced around the assortment of first years, searching for the blue-haired boy, but he was nowhere to be seen. They must have separated all the students to different sections. Izuku messed with Kachan's hair spikes, sending shivers through the boy as he wiped his hands on his pants nervously. Kachan had seemed a lot more jumpy since Izuku had been around him, but he was probably just nervous for the exam. If Izuku had actually been competing, he might have been nervous as well. As President Mike shouted to start, Kachan shot forward, hands pushing him forward with explosions. Izuku quickly touched his wrist, watching him overtake all the other students. He was really fit to be a hero. Izuku contemplated going to see the heroes' view, but decided against it, leisurely floating into the exam area. When you weren't being graded, there wasn't too much to worry around. He helped out a boy struggling to punch a robot, quickly flicking the off switch located on the top of the robot. The amount of money UA could spend on these things was insane, though Cementos probably did all the buildings. He watched Kachan tear through a building, grabbing robot after robot and destroying them with ease. Izuku sighed, following behind on cleanup duty. He helped a girl who was trying to produce mushrooms everywhere out of some rubble, holding it up so she could escape. She looked confused but ran away quickly, off to get more points. He helped any student he could, trying to keep everyone safe while also randomly short-circuiting some robots. Who would be awarded the points wasn't Izuku's concern, as long as Nezu was going to be confused. There was a boy with balls for hair that Izuku almost helped. He was stuck between a robot foot and a wall, as Izuku reached out for the connector wire to disconnect movement to the foot. But he managed to use his sticky balls to clamber on top of the robot easily, sticking it to the floor with the balls. Izuku grinned at his ingenuity, looking for more people to help, until the ball boy came flying down and purposely hit a girl, mumbling something about her boobs being a good landing, much to her dismay as she tried to throw him off. Izuku quickly reached forward, pushing his energy into his fingertips to grab the boy's shoulders and chuck him as far as he could. He was raised by a single mother who was trying her hardest, and Izuku would be damned if he let anyone speak to a woman like that. He was not hero material. Izuku stuck around the ball boy, disconnecting wires before he could get the takedown point, ruining his advantage at every turn. Izuku was definitely petty. He could tell you that. So, when the boy tried to lock a robot to the floor, Izuku used Eraserhead's quirk at the last second to take away the stickiness. He groaned as the boy stumbled, almost getting himself crushed. Izuku flicked off a switch, stopping the robot's movement and pushing it backwards. It hit the floor with a loud thump and as the boy panicked, crying. He could never be a hero if he gave up when it got too hard. Izuku floated away, bored of messing with him, when the floor started to rumble, people stumbling backwards, racing away from the area, including the grape-looking boy. Izuku turned around, mouth falling open at the sheer size of the zero-pointer. "Little much, Nezu?" he muttered to himself, watching people panic. He didn't worry about getting hurt, so he sped around the area, helping trapped individuals move small pieces of rubble. He was about to call it good and go mess with the actual scoreboard before a scream took his attention. "Help!" they yelled, and Izuku turned, his heart dropping. Kachan was unconscious beneath a large pile of rubble, a black-haired boy holding the pile up. Kachan couldn't be unconscious. He didn't get knocked out like that. Izuku didn't think twice, shooting himself up as high and as fast as he could, far from the floor, trying to reach the wires of the neck. He pulled and pulled, using his mom's quirk, but the robot didn't stop. It kept moving, closer to Kachan, and Izuku couldn't stop it. He screamed, phasing into the behemoth and trying to find anything he could disturb. He used his mom's quirk until his vision became spotty and he struggled to keep himself airborne. He screamed, his head spinning as he ripped every cord out, falling before managing to catch himself above the floor. The robot had stopped mid-air, as if it had just fully shut down. He managed to stumble out of the robot, shivering as a new level of cold hit his form. He hadn't been this cold since he had died, and he couldn't shake the chills that wrecked his body. He gripped his head in pain as it screamed at him, his entire body a new level of fire. "Kachan," he muttered, floating over slowly to his friend's form. The black-haired boy had managed to free him from the rubble, resting his body on top of Kachan to shield him. Kachan's chest rose and fell slowly, and Izuku released a breath in relief, blinking away the spots. Recovery Girl made her way in as the bell sounded for the end of the test. Izuku still struggling to see clearly. "Is he okay?" the black-haired boy asked, rubbing his neck awkwardly. "Back away now, dearie," Recovery Girl said, shooting him back with her cane. She leaned forward and kissed Kachan on the cheek before backing away slowly. "He'll be alright. Just some stress-induced anxiety and quirk overuse." She grabbed the black-haired boy's hand, placing a handful of gummies in it. "Eat, dear. You need strength too." Izuku hesitated, knowing he only had one rope spot left. After that, he'd have to replace some of the older ones, Mom's. He bit his lip, touching Recovery Girl's hand gently, forming a bond. She jumped, looking around the area, using her cane like a baton. It went right through Izuku as he floated away to each of the examinees. He could make it a lot easier for Recovery Girl with his quirk. She could have all the credit. He spent the next 30 minutes using Recovery Girl's quirk to heal basic cuts. He couldn't set wounds, but this was good enough. He had used her quirk briefly before when she had a big group of students to help. His head ached so much as he gave up helping, pulling up his ropes again. Pulling eraser heads took a lot more energy than usual, throwing him forward quicker than he was used to. "Ow," he muttered, holding a hand to his head as he watched the heroes talking. He let their words muddle together, knowing that Kachan had made it. He was too good not to have made it. Alrighty, my little ladies, that's a wrap of this one. This one's amazing. I love how Izuku punts Mineta. We see a few familiar faces that he helps, like, I can't remember her name, but the mushroom girl from 1B, and a black-haired boy, which I thought might be Sero, but I can't remember. It might also be Sato, because that would make more sense if it was Sato, but I can't remember. Anyways, so my little learners, this is a little reminder that you might have something you need to do or check. I hope you have a fantastic time wherever and whenever you may be, day, night, dusk, dawn, low tide, high tide, whatever it is for you. You can call me Lovegood, and that was Chapter 6 of Ghostly Bonds by KittyKqt on AO3. Again, the link to this fic will be in the pinned comment by me in this video, and tags are in the description. Bye, little learners.